All right, welcome to 5.7 day one, graphing linear inequalities in two variables. And I'm going to actually skip down to our first couple examples here. So it says, tell whether the ordered pair is a solution of the inequality. So your answer is going to be yes or no, solution or not a solution. And it is as simple as plugging it in and seeing if it's true or false. So remember, the first number in each ordered pair is x, and the second number is y. So we're just going to plug in 0 for x and 0 for y and see what we get. All right, so if x is 0 and 3 times 0 is 0, what do we have on the left-hand side? 0 minus 0, isn't that just 0? Okay, now we need to see, is this true or false? Is 0 less than or equal to 6? And you would say, yeah, 0 is less than or equal to 6. So yes, it is a solution. So you can write solution or yes. Now let's look at number 2. Again, we're going to plug them in. So we're going to plug in 6 into x and negative 1 into y. And let's see what we get on the left-hand side. So if x is 6, and then minus 3 times negative 1, so a minus becomes a plus 3. And then 6 plus 3 is 9. So now we answer the question, is 9 less than or equal to 6? And you guys would say, no, it's not. So this one is not a solution. Or you could just write no. Okay, so those aren't too bad. Just plug them in and see if it works. Now we're going to graph them on the coordinate plane. And there's a little bit of rules here. Okay, so step 1, you need to isolate y. You always need to get it into y equals mx plus b form. Y equals mx plus b, except it won't be an equal sign, it'll be an inequality today. And then you need to graph the line. Okay, so y equals mx plus b, graph the line. And then lastly, I don't know why there's step 4, lastly you're going to shade the region that the inequality wants. Okay, so let's go over some rules. And actually, I'm going to change this one. This won't be until tomorrow's video. Let's do y is less than 3x minus 2. Can you just change that real quick? And let's see if we can squeeze all this in here. Okay, so first thing you want to do is get y alone. And as you notice, y is already isolated. So we can skip step 1. Step 2, graph the line. So we have a y-intercept at negative 2. So you begin with the b, and then move with the m, and the slope is 3 over 1. So rise 3, run 1. Up 3, right 1. Okay, now here's where it gets kind of annoying. If it's a strictly less than sign, it means you don't want to include the line, so you make a dotted line. So if it's strictly less than or strictly greater than, you do a dotted dashed line. Now, if it was less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to, then you would want to include the line and actually make it solid. But if you look back to this problem, it says just less than, not on it, just less than. So we need to make a dashed or dotted line. All right, and then step 3 says shade the region. So you're either going to shade above it or below it. Now you shade above when it's greater than or equal to. And obviously you shade below if it's less than or equal to. Okay, so this one says less than, so you got to think, okay, which region is below the line? Is it this one or this one? And I hope you guys agree that it's this one. All that stuff is below the line. And that's your final answer. So there's a lot of things that you guys have to remember for these. All right, let's do one more, and then I'll do another one for anyone who wants a little more practice. All right, so let's take a look at let's do number 4. Okay, so first up is get y alone, and it already is isolated, so we can move on to graphing the line. Okay, so begin with the b, and move with the m. So we start at the y-intercept of 4, and our slope, if there's no number, it's 1 over 1, positive. So up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1. Okay, now, before you go and make that line, should it be dashed or solid? And notice it says less than or equal to. If you see that little or equal to, it means that anything on the line is a solution. So we want to make a solid line. And then do we want to graph above or below? Now this one says less than or equal to. So less than means below. So here's above, here's below. You guys want to shade below. All right, if you're feeling comfortable, feel free to stop the video now. If anybody's interested, I'll do one more. Let's look at number 3. So feel free to pause it if you want to try 3, and then we'll check. Okay, so number 3, y is isolated, so we are ready to go. This one is in a weird order. The y-intercept is actually the 5, and the slope is actually the negative 1 over 1. So be careful that you get those in the right spot. So if we begin with the b, we're going to start at 5. And then if our slope is negative 1 over 1, we got to go down 1, right 1. Down 1, right 1. Down 1, right 1. Okay, dashed or solid line. This one says strictly less than, not including, so we need a dashed line. And lastly, shade above or below. Here would be above, here would be below, and this one says less than, which means below. So that would be this region under the line. All right, thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, let me know tomorrow.